Hey everybody, welcome to Back to Basics with Barb Part 2. Today we're going to have just a brief lesson on a couple of key skills to master in your quilting. The first of which will be something involving angles. So in the pattern that we're doing, we have to mark diagonal lines so that we align our two opposing fabrics the correct way. And I'm going to show you about that. And then we're going to learn a little bit about that 1/4 inch seam allowance. It's so important. So let's get started. I've already cut my fabrics out. My rectangles are already cut. So what my instructions want me to do is to mark my opposing fabric on the wrong side with a diagonal line that runs from corner to corner. And I'm going to point you down now at the at where I'm working. So okay, so the directions want me to mark a diagonal line from corner to corner. It's very important to look at your piecing diagrams in your pattern to make sure that you mark the angle going the right way. When I was fooling around with this beforehand, I marked my line going the wrong way, and I would not be able to arrange my blocks correctly. So first thing we're going to do is mark the diagonal line, and I'm using a Frixion pen. And I know some of y'all don't like them. I get that. I like them. I don't have any I don't store my quilts in the freezer, so I don't have any trouble with the ink coming back. All right, so I marked my diagonal line on the wrong side of my contrasting fabric, and I'm going to place this square on top of my other fabric. Okay, so and you're going to see that I did exactly what I did wrong the first time. So see if I can flip it. I cannot. So you really have to pause and think about this. So I'm gonna do it the right way. Look, I did it the wrong way again. So now I'm gonna mark the right angle, and you'll know when you go to lay it out. So there's my line. Okay, now I need to lay this so that this diagonal line goes from this corner to that corner on the bottom. All right, so can you see what I have now? Let me see if I can move you guys closer. I don't know that I can. Let me get this out of the way. And let's see. I'm going to turn it this way. So maybe you can see now this corner of the angle on this corner. So you're going to have exposed contrasting fabrics, and that's how you'll know you have it the right way. Okay. Now comes the ever important 1/4 inch seam allowance. So I happen to sew on a faff, so it has a special 1/4 inch quilting foot. However, we're going to pretend that my faff does not have a 1/4 inch foot today, and I'm going to show you a little trick. And this isn't my trick. This is a trick that's all over the internet. I didn't invent it, but it's very handy, and I do use it on my other machines that are not, that don't have a 1/4 inch foot. I'm trying to get this ring light out of the way. So let me see if I can move my light over here a little bit. All right. Now there's going to be too much glare. Oh, that's terrible. Hold on. Let's see what we can get here. Somewhere there's got to be a way to put this light so that I get it where I need it. Let's see. All right, that might work. Okay, so I took, and like I said, this is a common internet trick. I did not make. Okay, you guys, you're not going to see me for this part of the video because I wanted you to have a good angle for this shot. So I wanted to show you a way to make sure you have a good scant 1/4 inch seam allowance if you do not have a machine that has a 1/4 inch quilt foot, which mine does. So get your ruler, put it under your presser foot, put your needle down just to the right of your 1/4 inch mark, just to the right of it. before we started this video, I made a little stack of painter's tape, and I happened to have green froggy tape, so that's what I used. And I layered about 14 pieces together, so it makes a nice little ridge to put something up against. I put the ruler under my needle, and I put the needle down to hold it there. And then I put my piece of painter's tape, I just pressed it down really good right along that edge. That gives you a good 1/4 inch seam allowance, scant 1/4 inch seam allowance. Okay, so what we're going to do next is sew that angled piece that I just arranged for you a minute ago. So these instructions for making this block require us to sew a 1/4 inch on either side of the line we marked. So this is our line, not this one. This was the boob. This one is the boo-boo. This is the good angle. And we're going to put a 1/4 inch seam allowance on either side of that. So we're going to put, now I have a 1/4 inch foot on here. So I did this just to show you. So I'm going to take this off now, and I'm going to go put it back where it normally would live, which is on my machine that does not have a 1/4 inch foot. All right, go get that out of there and put it back where it lives. Hang on, I'll be right back. Okay, so we're going to sew a scant 1/4 inch on either side, each side of this line. So I have a 1/4 inch foot on here, so I'm going to put my presser foot. Oh, did I bring my bobbin thread up? I did not. I just changed thread color, so let me get my bobbin thread. Line on either side of my diagonal mark I made, and I have my 1/4 inch presser foot on, so I'm not worried about my. Okay, so that's one side. Then I'm going to put the edge of my presser foot on my diagonal line I made. And I'm going to sew the other side. So I'll be right back. Okay, now we're going to cut this apart on our drawn line. So we're going to line our ruler up on our mark that we made. I'm going to find my rotary cutter, which I put in a bad spot. And we're going to just cut this apart on our drawn line. Okay, so now what we have is a unit that looks like this. So you'll have your contrasting fabrics, essentially your background, and one of your focals, and I'm giving it a little finger press. So that's what you're going to have for this part of this project. So the importance of the 1/4 inch seam allowance is critical here, because it will make your block the correct size when you start to open it up. So this doesn't really have a dark and a light. Normally you want to press your seam towards the dark. In this case, I'm just going to press it towards the taupe. And there you have it. There's our little, our half rectangles for unit. They'll be unit A. And then we'll make some unit Ds in the next step. That lesson really was to focus on drawing your lines the right way and working on your accurate 1/4 inch seam allowance. Okay, be back.